Beetlejuice is now in theaters, and as a point of reference, I really do like the first one like a lot, but it's never been like a childhood staple of mine or a film I regularly start to rewatch the second spooky season begins. The trailers for this one didn't sell me at all, and the second trailer in particular was just downright terrible in my opinion. Putting all of that aside, having finally seen this film, it blew me away. I had such a fun time with this film. Starting off with a detriment this time around, there are far too many subplots in this movie. Far too many, like an absurd amount. Willem Dafoe brings out some great laughs at times, but it also feels like the character was just useless in the grand scheme of things. The ending him and the rest of his crew have, it's just so anticlimactic. It's kind of funny. Speaking of anticlimactic character payoffs, Jenna Ortega's character Astrid meets a boy in this movie, and I like the setup. I like the whole treehouse scene. If you've seen the movie, you'll understand that. So it's built up, and it makes it so much. It's so intriguing to see this storyline expand, and then that plot twist quotation marks happens, and it's also quite interesting, and then it leaves off with just, the entire subplot becomes the butt end of a joke, albeit it's a genuinely awesome joke. That F-bomb is an all-timer, but it just still felt like something could have happened, something bigger. They could have done something better with that character and its subplot, because it started off so strong and it ended off so terribly in my opinion. But whatever, I guess. I don't know. There was just far too much going on. The villain of this movie, who is super connected to Beetlejuice, has like one flashback scene, which I loved. I loved that flashback scene. It made me laugh out loud multiple times. But they never really interact, and the character goes nowhere, and the defeat is so anticlimactic again. Just, it felt like there was a bunch of subplots for the sake of being subplots. It's a 100-minute film with a 100-minute runtime, obviously, and it just felt like way too much was going on. Such as, there is a scene where creatures from the afterlife literally come into the real world and run loose in White River. And it was just, that entire thing was just completely abandoned by the ending. Like, seriously, what happened with that entire situation? Are we not going to get, like, an update or whatever? Now, jumping gears, I loved this film, as I already mentioned. A legacy sequel that fleshes out the world and doubles down on the comedy from its predecessor. I think the first film has a decent amount of solid comedy in it, but nothing too memorable in the grand scheme of things. But this film had me and the rest of the theater laughing out loud multiple times. Specifically, Michael Keaton as the titular character, of course. My man is 73 years old right now and continues to shine as such a bubbly personality as Beetlejuice. I appreciate the filmmakers for keeping his screen time relatively low. I think he has more screen time in this movie than he does in the first one, but you know what I mean. He's not really one of the protagonists if you're really looking at it. Because he's a fantastic personality, but he is definitely a lot. Like, if you saw more of him in this movie, it would start to get exhausting. So I do like him being pushed to the side in these movies, because the human characters are still the standouts of this franchise, even though, you know, Beetlejuice is in the title. He's not the protagonist, and I think it's perfect just the way it is. Jenna Ortega, Winona Ryder, and Catherine O'Hara are all really solid, with their character payoffs feeling earned, though I'm not really sure how to feel about what they did with Delia's character by the end. Odd choice, but it was played off well enough, I suppose. Gotta love Tim Burton's love for these practical effects, because all the sandworm stuff, sorry Dune, continues to ooze of creativity. Awesome stuff, so much fun. Overall, Beetlejuice surprised me a whole lot. I loved this film. I had such a great time, and I'm dying to rewatch it because it's just such a blast, and it gets me ready for Halloween. I'm gonna give this an 84%.